All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, there's a lot going on in the news right now that I just don't particularly care to talk about this morning because we've had a pretty hard run the last several weeks. I think we had a pretty good deep dive Saturday night. We talked about the CRS, the Community Relations Services. If you didn't see that one, uh, I mean, obviously, I highly recommend it because I want those numbers to go up. I want to see that view machine go burr. Uh, but we've done quite a bit of coverage on things like the riots in the blue cities. We've covered some stuff going on with vaccine developments with Robert F. Kennedy, and all that stuff's still going on. Um, it's a new week, guys. It's Monday morning, and I want to just kind of take it easy this morning. So, uh, as Sergeant Major points out, the hostages are free. That's a good thing generally. If I'm being honest, as far as the Israel-Gaza relationship goes, my only interest is that we stop sending a bunch of money over there. I frankly don't care if they burn each other to the ground as long as it stops affecting my bottom line because I mean it's my bottom line, right? Everybody else's problem doesn't have to be my problem, right? Your failure to plan does not constitute an emergency on my part. So there's all kind of stuff going on, and we're gonna get into most of it eventually. Uh, and I mean, hey, we're a daily live topical show. Most of the time, we're gonna chase the algorithm, right? If there was a thing about vaccines and a thing about peace in the Middle East in the news yesterday, we'll either cover both of them in the morning, or if we have to pick one for time constraints, then I'll look at how many people are interested in one or the other, and the more popular the more popular of the two will win because I want obviously maximum viewership on the channel. Uh, Patrick asks, "Are you going to cover the weapons plant explosion in Tennessee?" Maybe. Um, I haven't seen anything to suggest that it was a terror attack or anything like that yet. Which is not to say that there's nothing of that sort out there. I haven't seen anything like that. Uncle Steve says, "Thank you for your 811 public service announcement." Yeah, guys, I hope y'all get a chuckle out of that one. I I intentionally ran it as just a straight it reads like a straight basic public service announcement right up until the end. So yeah, go watch it until the end and get your chuckles. Uh, and that was Cameron came out to visit Friday, and we had dinner and hung out with him and the kids, and then Saturday morning we took the tractor back to the clearing, back to my private park, and with a couple of uh, with some props. I won't spoil it for you guys. Some of you heard me talk about what the plan was, but a couple of interesting props for chuckles, and made a little video. Aaron Olson says the explosion in Tennessee happened at 7:45 in the morning. Interesting time. Hopefully no foul play. Yeah, I haven't seen anything about foul play on that. So that a bomb plant bombed, not to discount or downplay anybody that was hurt or killed in the we'll call it incident instead of accident because I don't know anything about it yet apart that it happened. Uh, there is a world where you were making explosives and it didn't go well. Uh, Sometimes that shit just happens. So let me talk a little bit about some of the stuff I've been doing and kind of the future of the channel going forward. So we've been doing this, And this has been a labor of love and basically a hobby for years, right? We first started doing the Brushfire Mind as a Google Hangout with, half a dozen or so guys, just kind of like a group conference call, and we would talk over each other and go back and forth. And the original idea there was that, you know we all came up hanging out in a Waffle House after work late at night, and we run our mouths and drink coffee, and uh, with amazing regularity somebody would say something sharp and insightful or just outright hilarious, and it'd be the kind of thing that other people would clearly have enjoyed, right? It might be the kind of thing that sparks a newer conversation about a more complex topic. Hey, has anybody thought about this solution to this particular world problem? And let's war game that out and think about how it could or couldn't go, etc., etc. Or it might just be somebody cracking a joke that's worth building a whole stand-up routine off of. And early on, we thought, if we filmed one of these, maybe we could cut shorter snippets of it when somebody goes, we might go down a rabbit hole in a 3 or 4 hour conversation and spend 10 or 15 minutes on something really interesting. And that might make for an interesting YouTube product. Now, full disclosure, the project didn't work out that way early on because everybody involved had day jobs. And back then, that was before I went back to college and studied filmmaking to include post production and film editing. And when we first got into it, the part where, oh yeah, we filmed ourselves talking for 4 hours, and to do the whole shorts thing, right? This is before there was such a thing as YouTube Shorts or Facebook Reels, etc. In order to do that, somebody has to sit down and go back and watch the whole 4 hours again and pay attention to everything, like not just passively listen to it in the background, but actively pay attention to it and make those edits. And that is an incredibly time consuming process. Now, Patrick just said we should do another one of those shows. Those were always entertaining. And I'll add to that, Patrick, that Sergeant Major says, I can't believe you learned something useful in college. That's a whole conversation, actually. I had a very interesting college education that taught me a lot about the value of a carefully curated college education. That could be a whole show conversation right there, a whole topic right there. But Patrick mentions those were always entertaining. So one of the big hurdle that we hit early on was, like I said, somebody's got to go back and watch that whole 4 hour thing and do the very time consuming work of editing that. Right. Several years ago, we did a very large budget wedding video. Patrick's watching; he was there. Those of you who are familiar with Cameron from the regular show, he was on the ground with us there. Who did we have that day? It was me and Cameron, Patrick, and Aluska the Slav. Zaluska the Slav. I think. Yeah, Patrick, remind me. I think that was it. Just the four of us, or did we have one more? Anyway, it was either 4 or 5 of us, and Sanders says class 1 should be to check your mic. You know what? Good catch. That should be better. And a quarter of a damn dinner roll. Thank you, Patrick. Oh my God. Anyway, my point, what I was getting at there, that was one where, I charged a pretty large invoice for the project. The four of us ran three Lumix G85s, a Panasonic XR2000, the Insta360, the drone, and I think 3 action cams. So 10 cameras. So 4 guys ran 10 cameras for 12 hours. That's a shitload of footage. Now that's not 12 hours of footage times 10 cameras, right? That's okay. You shoot 3 or 4 minutes here, you shoot a minute here, you shoot 30 seconds here, but that amounts to a boatload of work. And so the post-production, the editing on that to get the final product out to the client, I think I did 95 hours of work on that. And ideally, you're going to watch all the footage you shot. I promise that did not happen. Well, let me rephrase. You're going to watch all the footage you shot twice. I did not watch all the footage I shot twice. I watched all of it one time, and a lot of it was I watched, the first 5 or 6 seconds and just went ahead and threw it on the floor to get through it because that was a lot of footage. But it is a lot of work. Now, all that said, Patrick, you saying we should do one again, that major hurdle, having to have somebody go through and watch it and do all that editing work, there's a lot that we can do with AI now. I ran a lot of videos through, what was that one called? Opus Clip earlier this year, where we take the daily show, we take the morning show and run it through and pull out a handful of clips. I made a mistake, frankly, with Opus Clip. I haven't done any shorts with Opus Clip in about 2 or 3 months because I made the mistake of setting it to try and do that automatically. And it started doing a lot more clips than I wanted it to. So there's a bit of a learning curve there. And when I say more clips than I wanted to, that shit's not free. So that's one where growth will feed growth. Similarly with the AI music videos that I've been doing recently, those, like, I could basically iterate infinitely on the lyrics and then iterate less infinitely, but still substantially on the actual song, where I take the lyrics themselves and convert them into music using an AI tool and go in and make adjustments and get the song dialed in just where I want it to be. Like God is Dead and We Have Killed Him, that I just published, I think Saturday morning, which, by the way, if you haven't listened to it already, please give it a watch and share that and help us grow a little bit. But the video production piece of that, still AI, it's still fast, but it's a little more expensive. It's not outrageous, it's not unreasonable, and it's something that, as the channel, especially now that we're monetized on Rumble and about to be monetized on YouTube, maybe, definitely divert some of those resources towards expanding that project. Now, I was talking to my dad yesterday, and there is more stuff that I want to do with the channel, but I have to be careful about how we do it. Like, I've got a good voice. I know that, and people tell me that. I've been told by more than one hot young thing through my life that I could read her the phone book and she'd sit and listen. And I don't mean to. I'm not saying that to brag entirely, but the old man suggested I should start doing children's books, reading children's stories on air. And that's something that I want to do, that I would love to do. And I started to do something like that a couple of years ago, and uh, decided against it because, frankly, because of Elsa Gate. So, for those of you who aren't familiar, there was a major scandal, and it's still a problem on YouTube. But there was a major scandal on YouTube a few years ago that was referred to as Elsa Gate. And what's happening is, and this is mostly coming out of India. Surprise, surprise. There are people generating just the nastiest, the worst AI slop, and this is happening back before you've got anything like Nano Banana or VO3. This is before before the Bigfoot vlog videos. They're just absolute trash. And what they would do is a very primitive AI video generator would basically map the faces of popular characters onto the same cheesy cartoon over and over. So you'd have basically two characters moving back and forth in the screen, and then they'd iterate like thousands of iterations of the two characters dancing back and forth on the screen, and then they just replace the faces. So you'd have Hitler and Spider-Man, Elsa and Hulk, right? It would almost always be a Disney character and or a Marvel character. And I know Disney and Marvel are the same thing, but not for the purposes of the algorithm. And Hitler or something like that, right? And then that turned into them giving each other injections in the butt cheek with giant hypodermic needles, et cetera, et cetera. And what happened is these were keyword loaded to target children based on the expectation that mommy and daddy are going to take their iPad and stick it in front of their crying 1-year-old just out of reach where the kid can't touch the screen. They're going to start it on a perfectly reasonable children's video. And then based on the algorithm, as it goes to play the next video, you leave your kid parked in front of this iPad for an hour or two. Well, that kid's video, the Cocoa Melon or whatever you started them with, feeds them into the algorithm so that the next up and the next up and the next up goes to, okay, we're just going to show them Elsa and Spider-Man and Mickey Mouse, and then we're going to show them Elsa and Spider-Man and Mickey Mouse pooping on the floor and getting giant needles injected in their ass. And then the giant needles thing turned into, I shit you not, grown-ass men, adult men, injecting saline into their children for the videos to take advantage of that algorithmic maneuver. Imagine what other horrifying directions that could have gone in. Right? Because of that, there is a safety feature, and there are some good arguments for it and against it. But there is a safety feature in the algorithm where you must declare if your content is made for children. And so if you have declared that a piece of content is safe for children, then that affects the algorithmic disposition of the rest of your content. Now, obviously on this show, we cover sensitive political topics. We cover sensitive news topics. We cover stories that include things like terrorism and murder and rape and abortion and all manner of horrible things because we don't like those things. And we've discussed before why we have the old adage, if it bleeds, it leads, right? Because tragedy and disaster, impending, threat, harm, risk, these are things that you have to do something about. Right? And I don't even mean, oh my God, the world's on fire, I need to go and buy an electric vehicle so that we don't burn off the ozone layer. I mean, oh, the newsman just showed me satellite images that says that all the trees are going to fall down in my backyard, and maybe I ought to make sure that they're not going to land on my house. I better hire somebody or get my chainsaw out and take care of that. Right? There's a big difference between, well, if somebody doesn't figure out world peace, then the Muslims are going to kill 1,000 Jews at a music festival tomorrow. Well, probably not a lot I can do about that. I'm probably still concerned. I'm probably still interested in what it means. But if my egg prices are about to quadruple, I might think about putting a few more chickens in my flock, right? That's why if it bleeds, it leads. And so we cover that kind of stuff. Obviously, that's not the kind of stuff you talk about to your 2-year-old, your 3-year-old. So when and if, and I'm leaning more toward when than if, I do start reading children's stories, what I'll do is I'll do a separate channel that is branded as a part of the Brushfire world. TPS says, okay, I'm gonna come to that in a second. I'll brand that stuff as part of the Brushfire, kind of the Brushfire media ecosystem. And that is definitely something I want to do in the near future. In fact, I'm seriously thinking that won't be a live stream type of thing though. That'll be, I go back to my little park in my woods on the back of my property here and sit on the park bench with, a wireless lav mic and a camera and upload a polished video. So, but I would establish a separate channel for that. Because of the algorithmic concern. That said, the music that I've been doing over here, and well, before I talk about that, TPS report says we are 19 followers away from 1,000 on Rumble. Hell yes. And let me do this about that. Everybody who's watching right now, I want you guys take a moment, open another tab if you can, and go over on Rumble, TPS Report Live. If you're not already following them, get over there and hit that button. I don't watch Danny and Alex as often as I'd like to. Not live. I have to go back and catch their replays because they go live at 9:00, and I'm either doing a show or I'm in bed at 9 usually. That said, I'll try to make it a point to watch tonight, Alex. I'll try. No promises, but I'll try. But they're live at 9:00 Eastern time, Monday and Thursday. And they do a great job. Alex is a sharp dude. And we don't agree on everything. We agree on most stuff because, principles. But yeah, sharp dude. Now, that little piece of information, congratulations. I mean, I'm proud as I could be of you, brother. Here's another one. I have a similar announcement. We are 30 subscribers away from 1,000 on YouTube. The BFM, we are 34 subscribers away on YouTube. Right, 34, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And I'm going to show you guys a little behind the scenes real quick. Here, let me pop this off. I'm not going to show you everything behind the curtain because that's how you get your identity stolen. But let me see if I can see this without showing you anything. Yeah. Okay. So check this out. Monetization on YouTube requires 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. We're just short on the subscribers. We're there on the watch hours, and they've recently relaxed that standard. So basically, I am now being reviewed. They got me set up for my AdSense account, and they've got me in review to actually be monetized on YouTube again. Now, we were monetized on YouTube previously, back before the adpocalypse, and then after the apocalypse, they changed the standards. They deleted half of our subscribers and increased the requirements to join the program to 1,000 subs and 4,000 watch hours. That was years ago, and since then, obviously, we've been laboring under the burden of some suppression. Our growth on Rumble, however, has been very fast. Not initially. It took me a long time to build up anything substantial on Rumble, but then in the last, let me see how far back I can go. Last 90 days, we've picked up 66 followers. I want to see, let me see if I can see date range, all time. It doesn't have a good, I bet I could find one, but it doesn't have a good measure of subscriber growth over time in that. Okay, anyway, sorry, dead air. But we've gained several hundred subscribers since we joined the Rumble creator program back in March. I think we've doubled our subscriber reach since then. And now we're sitting just under 800 as of right now, I think. Where are we? Yeah, 776. So moving along nicely there. And that's thanks to you guys, and we appreciate the hell out of it. And Sergeant Major says, you guys need to have your spouses and kids and friends, hey, do me a favor, guys. Tell people. Talk about the show. Say, my buddy Chris said this is awesome. My buddy Chris is smart about this thing. He knows everything there is to know about dirty commies and how to stop them. But yeah, tell your friends, tell your family, ask people to like, share, and subscribe, and help us grow this bad boy. And I want to do. I think I might. I'm going over to Mom and Dad's house to hang out with them for a while today, but sometime in the next day or three, I think I'm going to do just a midday live stream and kind of talk through the process of making the AI music and AI music videos. I'm having a ball doing it, and I'll go into more detail about it when I'm actually streaming on that topic. But guys, I would greatly appreciate it. I've published a couple of songs in the last few days. I think I've got 2 more that are ready to go I'll go ahead and get those published this morning before I head out to Mom and Granddad's house. What was the other thing? I had one more thing I wanted to share with you guys. The songs are coming. Oh, and of course, we just did the Call 811 PSA that I published on Saturday. That's worth a chuckle. It's a 1-minute video. Share it everywhere. People will laugh about it. Make people laugh and hopefully make them like, share, and subscribe. And do me a favor, guys. Seriously, go watch those. The songs are primarily on YouTube for now. They're a better fit for the YouTube algorithm. My plan, my hope, is that by creating compelling art, culture, music related to the topics that we discuss, and not entirely. I've got a sea shanty that's just like a dark epic sea shanty. It's got nothing to do with politics or anything. It's just a cool song that I'll have put to video sometime the next day or three. But like, God is dead and we have killed him. That is a song about the Nietzschean concept of eschewing faith and worshiping the state, right? It talks. One of the lines is, "Our children learn their hymns from the glow of a screen's hum." And it's all about the degradation and degeneracy of modern society. Aaron asks, "Will I have any EDM or trance tracks?" Maybe. If I write pieces about AI and the dangers of AI, or something like that, if I do some songs about technology, technocracy, that kind of stuff, maybe. I might maybe a song about RFK Jr. and vaccines, done as like a zombie trance track. Even that, I think I might want to go more like 90s frickin' hipster angst rock, vis-a-vis Falling in Reverse is Zombified, for something like that. Yeah. Pitt Danny says Rockdale County calls it Indigenous Peoples Day. Y'all, every day that is a national holiday where there's some shit lib arguing that you should call it another thing, let's be very clear about what's going on there. They're not actually interested in changing the designation of the day. They're interested in making you say things like, well, we're not working tomorrow because it's Columbus Day, or, whatever, Indigenous Peoples Day, or whatever it is you call it. They want you to say that. They want you to say it's the correct thing, or this other thing, whatever it is you want to call it. They want you to be confused, frustrated, and waste your time. They're stealing your sanity and your time, two of your most precious and irreplaceable resources. So no, it is Columbus Day and nothing else. And if somebody corrects you when you say Happy Columbus Day, or Happy Thanksgiving, or Merry Christmas, that person is a threat to your personal, financial, and political well-being. That person is a threat to your family. That person is the enemy. That person has been infected with a mind virus that is contagious, and they are actively seeking to cause you to contract it. So no, it's not Indigenous Peoples Day. It's Columbus Day. And anybody who says different is an existential threat. Okay, well, that took a turn. And Sergeant Major says the enemy is the devil, and that is 100% correct. That is correct. Those are people who've been infected with legitimate evil and become an existential threat. They are a mind virus that seeks to self-perpetuate through repetition and aggravation. Don't let them get to you. Just tell them no, right? If you need to make reference to a holiday, say the word, right? It's Columbus Day. And Juneteenth is not a thing. It's not. It's a joke. In fact, y'all should all go watch the deep dive that we did on Juneteenth, which was an off-schedule deep dive, and we had a lot of fun with that one. So, but that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in it there. I got some work I need to get done before I go to Mom and Dad's house. And thanks for watching this morning. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.